Morning, YouTubers. Sunday, 30th. So, oh, looks like we finally got spring. Daffodils are coming up. That's the true sign of spring going. Tulips. Tell you, I think there's two things I hate about spring. Although the first one is spring and the other one is spring, summer, fall, maybe winter. Is black flies. They're like geared to coming out at the end of April. And they just attack you when you're out there. And that way you got to load yourself up with some kind of poisonous crap on your skin to keep yourself from being attacked and eaten and blah, blah, blah. So, yep. I'm gloried those days I was out there working when there wasn't any black flies, but now they're out there in droves. Of course, living across the street from a swamp probably doesn't help. Um, so I'm a little perplexed about my project, my hydroponic system out there. When I was originally pondering it for so very long about how I was going to build a system, I came up with the idea that I should use up what I have and build a system with the pans that I already had used from before. And because I was trying to take the cheap way out, and ultimately the other design would have been to go with a straight gutter or tray of sorts, and then allow the circulation of the water through the 5-gallon pails for such. And I thought I should use up what I have first, but it's very perplexing because no matter how I run the numbers through Home Depot's website, it ends up being well over $150 just for the plumbing itself. So just for the plumbing part, with a pump and an aerator maybe, and we're looking at $200 for all that stuff. I'm not, and then if I go on to do a kind of a hoop over them, that's going to add on another $100 there for materials, and by the time I get done with this whole project, it's probably going to cost me $500, and I'm not going to get $500 worth of vegetables out of it. I could get everything that I could grow there from the farm next door, probably $400 or so. I don't know, maybe more. But no one says that gardening is cheap. Of course, considering what I have for value in that weeds room back there, I guess everything is all kind of relative. So I'm kind of perplexing about how to get away with it the least expensive as possible and maybe add to it next year. What can I do with the system this year? Last year, one of the problems I had was that the watering wasn't consistent. It's not because I had other things going on, and so getting out there and making sure that there's enough water was kind of a challenge. And then too much water was a challenge too, because if it rained, it would flood out the trays, and that was kind of like too much water. So that would be the advantage of doing hoops because you can control um, the watering. So ultimately, the whole system would be a useful system. Ultimately, I think long run would be to do hoops over a wider area along the front, like a walk-in greenhouse, and then I could end up doing other stuff at the same time. But I'm not sure if that's the place to do it either. So it's a bit perplexing. I hate to waste my money on a bunch of plumbing pieces and end up not not using them correctly. And I keep going through my Home Depot cart. How about this? How about that? How do I do it this way? How about if I do it that way? Then I'm going to have to pot everything up. That's going to be a cost to it, unless I do net cups. Ultimately, I will save money on um, a medium if I use the net cups versus using my grow bags. Last year I used my grow bags, and there was a substantially amount of material needed to fill those grow bags. Whether it was worth it or not is a gray area. So I'm a little perplexed about the whole project. And everything is really cheap for the most part as individual items, but when you start adding them up, they tend to grow. I have to get another pan, cement mixing pan. I mean, that's $15. If I get the large Rubbermaid tote to recirculate the water, that's a bit more. That's $25 for that. They cheap out and get one that's for $6. Yeah, but it'll be broken in it'll be only good for one season, and then you got to throw it away. Unless you get the good rubber or good material, stuff doesn't last through winter here. So it is kind of a perplexing thing. How do I drain them? So recirculating the water is a fruitful thing, when you live off. I don't live off grid, but my water supply is from the ground. I pump it up. It's not really worth dumping out. So I'm certainly in a perplexing mood. And it's not like I had infinite amount of funds. I guess if my funds were unlimited, I wouldn't really be thinking about this, or I would have built a whole different system. So it is a bit perplexing about where to go with it. If it's doing it the way I did it, I have a lot more options about the end result versus doing buckets. And the buckets can always go in another year. But I don't know. You build it up in little tiny pieces, you don't realize how much the whole system is going to cost. Ultimately, you want to be able to grow your own vegetables. That's a great thing to have. I'm only doing it for a few months, but it's still kind of a nice thing to have. Ideally, it'd be to grow stuff that could turn over quickly, that I could sell at the farmer's market, versus things that are going to take a long time to grow, like cucumbers and tomatoes. I don't know. I don't know. All I know is this is going to be a long video, and I don't know if I want to put it. Ta-ta!